What you saying, people? It's another episode of The Panel. Rob, how you doing, bruv?
Hungry, you know, but I'm good, man. How you doing?
Bruv, I'm blessed, you know. I'm blessed.
It's Friday. The energy's good.
Wait. Bruv, we're in the studio now.
You know?
Where are we? Where are we at?
New settings.
Listen, big up University of West London for hosting this panel. Yeah, big up to everyone. Thank you so much for following our podcast. Listen, right now on your screens, yeah, you should see it. Like, if you see the little thing there, the little YouTube thing, you click it, yeah? You like, subscribe, and share. You know where me and Robert are at the moment. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. What's going on the Apple thing?
Yeah, soon come.
All right, cool. Soon come. All right.
Yeah,
now.
But you know what, though, right, yeah? We got an audience here now, yeah? Can the audience make some noise,
Yeah, come on,
please?
audience.
Yeah? Yeah, man. Bigger.
Listen, this is our first live podcast panel, you know. University of West London, big up.
Yeah, man.
Right, so before we go in, let's introduce the guests. Make sure you plug yourselves. Let's start from the left, far end.
Dr. Arlene Weeks.
Sorry, pardon?
Wait, come on.
Sorry, what was that? Sorry?
Dr. Arlene Weeks.
Okay. Sorry, a round of applause
Yeah,
for the doctor,
come on.
Come on, man.
All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Rita.
Round of applause.
I'm a social worker. I'm a lecturer as well. And I'm part of a duo. We run our own podcast, Tea with the Social Workers. Catch us on Instagram and TikTok.
Hey, big up.
Big up.
So am I right?
Hi everyone, I'm Susie. I'm a student. I'm Nana's mentee. Rob has always been a great leader to me as well. Yeah.
Round of applause.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Sorry, man. What's your platform, man? Plug that.
I have social work survival files on.
Thank you. That's it.
Mud.
Hi, I'm Andre. I am on my second year of undergrad. I am an advocate for queer safe spaces. Yeah, that's me.
All right.
Round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shamari. I am legal counsel. You can find me on LinkedIn and also on Instagram at Education is Better.
Wicked. Hey, great experience, you know?
Yeah, I know. Powerful panel.
Man.
I mean, today's been very, very reflective today, but I kind of wanted to talk about CPD for Black African Caribbean mental health.
Yeah.
You know, as we know, in terms of our sector, I still think there's a big gap that needs to be filled, and actually there isn't enough training that's being done. So actually having this here has been brilliant. But I want to get the thoughts of the panel. Why is CPD so important in this particular sector and this particular training for Black African Caribbean? Anyone free to jump in?
I think for me it's about understanding that there's a problem, seeing the problem and being able to inform practice as we move forward.
Susie?
I always like to say to students to start CPD early. You don't have to wait until you become a practitioner to get involved in improving yourself and gaining knowledge from different sectors. So the last couple events that I went to where I saw CPD live in action to support Black people was Community Care, where they had the Anti-Racist Practice Board from the anti-racist movement. They were powerful. And then there was the Special Educational Needs event. And then there was also the Black Care Experience, and it gave people knowledge that you would never ever see anywhere else, where there was a collection of data, resources and support for Black people specifically that we don't normally see on a national scale. So yeah, our events are very important.
Rita?
I think these events that are centered on these topics are super important, and the reason why I think that is because a lot of us are breaking newly into these spaces. And it's important for the people who are breaking into these spaces, but also the people who are seeing us break it, who are also on the journey to get into these spaces as well, to be able to learn from like-minded ones. So I definitely took a lot away from Dr. Weeks over here. And I'm using what I've learned from her to share with others. So I think it's super important for days like this in these areas.
Yeah, I think for me it's threefold. Firstly, raising awareness for those who don't know. I think it's informing action, and so letting people know what they can do, and then also I think finally a call to action, like actually sending people out to step up and start making moves. Because I think a lot of times we can focus on, okay, we know there is a problem, but not being aware of what I can do about it or learning how to actually take the action.
Okay, so coming from me, what I want to say is most of the people that I teach know that I'm always using one of my mum's sayings. And so it starts for me saying, you can't take away somebody's papers. Right? So when we get the information and we qualify whatever way that we are saying to people that we know something. I think also for me, it's about life is lifelong learning. And we must never think that we know it. And right here and now, we've heard lots of people talk about mental health, and one of the doctors talked about the fact that we've been talking about this issue for a long time. And I think you can end up getting off the treadmill and thinking, okay, we've done it, we've worn the T-shirt, but what we really know is that when it comes to Black issues, Black mental health, Black CPD, anything that you want to talk about, is that at a given moment in time, we get forgotten.
Yeah.
And we can't allow ourselves to be forgotten. And one of the things that really sticks to me was that when George Floyd died, all of a sudden, Black people existed.
Facts.
So we started eating McDonald's. We started eating Subways, like if we never did eat these things. And now we've forgotten. And so you've seen all those bill posters come down, and we, in our positions of respective authority, need to say we're still here and we are not going away. So that's for me why it's really important.
I want to jump on the back of that, Arlene, because I think being in local authority, doing this job for 10 years, when it's come to CPD, the sad thing about it is that it's been very, very generic. And it's only now that I've come to maybe universities and gone to events like community care, where actually it's becoming very specific to us. I didn't really see that even in my social work training, in terms of CPD, working with Black people from African and Caribbean descent. And I think it's a big gap. A lot of social workers will tell you that actually it just isn't there. I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went to a Black SEND event. I've never actually gone, that was my first one that I went to. And so I was asking questions at the conference as to why is it that it's, as a Black social worker as well, how is it in 10 years I'm only going to one of these? Why is it I'm only going to, like, these events? They're not as consistent. And I don't know whether it's down to the organisations, whether it's Social Work England or whoever, or BASWA, that they need to obviously bring this through to the forefront. And it goes back to what you were saying, Susie, that actually it's taking professionals to form little groups and organisations to say, actually, you know what? This is a problem within the community, and actually we're continuing to be lost.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's the thing, though, bruv. Like, maybe that's what needs to happen. I mean, I've got to say, one of my mentors, she's got this thing, and she tells me informative preparation. Yeah, I'm going to say that again: informative preparation. All right. So these events, right? Yeah, therefore to be informed and to be prepared. Now, the thing for me is, like, we're going to face cases, with mental health. And I think sometimes as well, when you talk about mental health, what actually is mental health? You know, what is it? Is it a bad day? Is it a good day? Is it when you're vexed, angry, sad, peed off? You know, what is it, But how do we deal with these families and these young people? What is the best strategy? What are the best ways? So if you don't have these talks and these conferences and everything, how are you supposed to be prepared? How are you going to be informed as well? But then also as well, these are great as well, but you also have to personally yourself be informed as well. You know, so autism, what is autism? What is ASD? You know, are you prepared? Do you know what it is? Yeah? If you go to, for example, we were talking about the lady that unfortunately killed her child. You know, there's a deep root to these things. You know, is that a form of mental health?
No.
That's another topic for another
conversation.
But you understand though, yeah? So, it's informative preparation.
Actually, you know what? Rita, land on that.
Well, I was going to make another point just in turn, and I will come to that particular person. But I think we need to not shy away from saying that some of the topics that we're discussing today, for example, in this conference, or if we're discussing like sort of minority-based, and I say minority, yeah, I know you're going to come check me.
Yeah.
But when some of the topics that we will discuss that are in relation to this community and our communities is taboo. They weren't conversations that we could easily have. We would huddle together maybe in our offices or when we've come out of work, and we would talk amongst ourselves about our experiences. And I think it's really important that we have people who are spearheading, and I'm going to big you up in this one. Yes, I'm going to pick you up again, because you spearheaded putting something like this together to be able to pull on your network and be like, you know what, we need this. So you're setting a trend, and I think we're going in the right direction in terms of things to follow.
Go on, Arlene.
Okay, so we're going to start with saying global majority.
Okay.
Okay, because it's something about our language that allows people to label us, and we need to stop that. Okay, we're not doing BAME. Yeah, we're talking about global majority. So that's number one. And I think the other thing for me is that I've been at this social work a long time. So this June will make it 34 years. And I often say, yes, a long
Veteran in this
Seasoned,
thing, bro.
you know.
Veteran, bro.
Hey.
But I have to say, it saddens me that we are in this space, because years ago, we were advocating for ourselves. We've now come to a point where we're tolerating things, where my generation in social work, we weren't tolerating this. We were saying it. So that although there wasn't that many black professionals.
Can I ask a question? Why do you think that is? Like, why is that?
Because that's contributing to the gap.
Well,
do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. You ask me, why do I think things
Yeah,
are
so is
worse?
it a generation thing? Is it a time? Like, obviously, you've got the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s.
Yeah,
so
I think what happens is that we become tolerant. And the UK, anybody knows me, I was born here, but I'm not fond of it, okay? Because what we allow is this idea of that America is bad and we're okay. Slavery happened here. Slavery was fed by British people who went to different countries, and what happens is England put all of their slaves in the Caribbean. So we get fooled into thinking that America's worse, but America did it on their land. So what happens when we start tolerating things that we pretended it doesn't exist anymore, and we become more accepting of us being minimized in this country, where Americans are radical, yeah, and they're going to say this is not good enough. When anything happens here, we talk about a said politician, that she said something that was deemed to be racist, and she was stopped being able to be a politician for a while. Somebody else says something about racism, and we're trying to say, they didn't mean that. Well, we know they meant it, yeah? And we're not out there arguing enough and saying, yes, they meant it, and doing something about it. So we've become more tolerant of the discrimination that we experience. And so we need more people, like, believe it or not, when I'm not lecturing, all my colleagues think I'm radical, because I'm like, don't tell me about nobody's no ally.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what that means.
Do you
I don't want allies.
Do you also think it's normalised now?
Absolutely normalised. It's acceptable to behave in a particular way, because we look at words like political correctness. What does that mean? I don't care if you call it black coffee. That doesn't mean anything to me, but somebody out there says that I'm going to be offended by a black board or black coffee. That doesn't affect me. What affects me is that my child is penalised in a school system. What affects me is the mental health that other black people experience. Those are the real issues. And as long as we allow people to tell us what is our experience of black people, being black people, then they can govern what the agenda is. But we need to take it back and say what is important to us. And what's important to me today is that we put on a conference about black people and black issues.
Let me come to our panelists on the right. What's your take in terms of what we're discussing, the gap? Do you think we've made progress in this area, or do you still think that actually it's still a long way to go? Because like I said, CPD in this area, I do agree with what Arlene is saying, but what's your thoughts?
I think when I think about mental health, I think about when I was younger, we used to have like people on the buses, and it used to be like, oh, that person's mad, and we didn't have the language or understand what that person was going through, and we used to blame it on like substances and stuff like that. And I think when I think about, oh, have we progressed? I guess we have language now. Our children know what it is to be depressed or what it is to have anxiety, but I don't know that we address it and handle it the right way.
I was going to say, like, we all have a responsibility to continue being a part of CPD and these groups and these conversations, because we live in a rapid, ever-changing world and people have multidimensional issues. So refusing to educate yourself on CPD and issues of people that aren't from communities that look like you is refusing to be a holistic practitioner that is getting out of their way to make person-centered plans to actually support young people. So refusing to come to this event would be doing a disservice to a lot of Black people in the mental health care system, because you just don't know how to help them the way they deserve to be helped. I would say, like, CPD is like excellent. This event, I would say, was a 10 out of 10, but you need to understand this event was a 10 out of 10 and it was free and it was open to all. I've been to loads of events and I plan to go to loads more events of Black people that put up these fantastic events for social issues, but their event has to be extremely excellent. No matter how expensive it was to set up, they have to do it for free.
Yeah.
They have to beg local authorities to take their workshops and their packages. They go through so much just to create that one event, and they have to do all the research on their own. So for other people of other races and other issues, they get government-funded initiatives, but for Black people, we don't get that. So it takes forever and a day to even make the petition to do your event and to be listened to. And then when we create those policies and practices from what we've learned, the policies and practices aren't used in a way that protects us.
Oh, they're stolen.
Shamari.
I want,
And rebrand.
so can I want to quickly ask you, can I just quickly ask Susie a question, right, yeah? So, first of all, boy, that was...
I'm very upset. I've been holding it in. This was a brilliant event.
Yeah.
It's opened my eyes.
But I want to ask you a question, right, yeah, for yourself and also for the rest of the panel. So, local authority, universities, education, colleges, charities, are they aware of these events? Are they aware that it does need to take place?
Bro, they know, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So if they know, yeah, they're supposed to know, why is it not happening?
I think they're aware of it. It just doesn't hold value to them.
There you
And
go.
they're allowed to turn a blind eye to it. Or when they are, it's a box-ticking practice.
Yep.
I showed up and I took pictures and put them on LinkedIn. It was sparkly. I got likes. It's not...
Let me just spot you on that. Hey, people clap for that, man. I'm not gonna lie. She just said, nah. But that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Because it's concerning, though. It's actually concerning, you know, because...
They're just not going to release you. Because a lot of the CPD that I have attended has been outside of my working hours.
Yeah.
A lot of the CPD that I've done that is actually beneficial in learning about topics such as this are carried out on the weekend or in the evenings, because the practitioners who are putting them on are also having to do their work day and then do this outside of that. So I think that's why there is a lack of sort of promotion in the areas that we need it to be promoted, because they need you in the office.
Let me go to Shamari.
I'm going to take in a slightly different direction, not because I disagree, I agree with everything that you've all said, but I also think there's an element also of looking inward, I guess, first, or internally. We are a minoritized group, despite the fact globally we are a majority, but in the UK we have to, I think, remember or to look that we have to look at ourselves first, to look at the conversations we are having. So it's one thing to say, well, this organization that we are part of but wasn't necessarily built for us should or that would be quote unquote the right thing to do. But are we able to actually have this conversation amongst our friends first and foremost? Are we able to have it in our family, in our wider community, to then be informed and equipped to then step out and then decide how we're going to hold these organizations to an account? It would be one thing to say, well, you know, the workplace I work in doesn't support me. and that would be nice. But do your family support you? Do your friends support you? And when they do, that's great. And then I think it's then understanding, how do we ourselves build these events? How do we look to our elders who say, okay, all right, we're going to put on this event? How do us as young people say, I'm going to turn up for free?
So let me ask you, let me land on this here. Do you think, Shamara, with what you're saying, and it's a very, very good point, do you think within our own community, when it comes to these things, because you've made a good point in terms of that actually, yes, the organizations, the charities, the government, all these things, it's not a new phenomenon, it's been out there. But do you think within our own community that there's a little bit of ignorance from ourselves to be able to talk about it, and then to say that actually we need to be able to have training on it? Because you're right, actually, yes, there's a responsibility for any employer, but as a community, do we have to be saying, actually, you know what, before we can even say people should be helping us, let's talk about it, let's see what we can do, and then obviously from there, front load it. What's your take?
Yeah, I would say definitely. I think there's a disconnect. I think one thing that we've spoken about today is that, assuming that what happens in your home or in your household is something that is the same for your entire community. So because you might say, oh, well, I felt safe in my home to have this conversation, you're presuming other people felt that way, or other people within your ethnicity, not necessarily community, if we refine it even further.
Yeah.
And so I think we definitely do need to be able to have more open conversations first amongst ourselves. And I think it depends. I don't think it's uniform. I think some places it is, but it's in pockets.
Go on.
Do you know that's crazy, right? Yeah. So, sorry. As many of you may know, I'm a youth offending probation officer. So I represent youth offending, and in youth offending, we have this training. Yeah, we have this training. Remember, we deal with gangs. I'm not going to say anything today, but literally, about half an hour ago, one of my young people died today.
Sad.
I went to cry in the toilet. I'm not a crier. Yeah, so we get the training for this in youth offending. Someone might die. You might see him today, on Monday, Thursday, he's gone. Yeah? We deal with the same families that you guys deal with. So I don't understand. In youth offending, in the youth offending service, the youth justice system, we get this training. And I don't know whether there's a higher or lower, or someone doing more than what. It should be the same. All the services should be the same. So I suppose what I'm asking you guys, why is that?
Can I start? Those years, I started out as a probation officer, and in probation, we've always had this. There's something, when I came into social services, again, about an accepting of a lower standard of training, a lower standard of support, that social workers accept that we would not have accepted in probation. And so I put on this conference because I'm starting from probation, and probation, I was allowed to say, we need this, black, white, or indifferent, that we can put on this training. So I come to it after all these years of experience and saying, I'm going to put on. And I've been able to call on my colleagues to buy into what I'm saying is important. So, as I said, the Vice Chancellor agreed and supported this. So that, and I go back to Shamari's point, we need to look and say, what do we need, rather than waiting for somebody to tell us. And so, for example, one of the things that we've got really big in social work that I can't even begin to understand is that we can be trained when we're dealing with people online. What is that? Online training, everything, right? So, and you have to understand that is our employers saying, tick box.
Do you think COVID's played a part? Because
I think you can say that, but I would argue that what has played more of a part is economics. They don't want to fund going away on a training course. So back in the day, they put on a training in-house or send you on a training course. But now we can say, oh, people say it's easier. Well, race is not something that you can do online. Gender issues are not something you can do online.
That's right.
So you need to be able to see somebody and see how they experience that. Not a tick book.
And just to say, Rob, with what Arlene is saying, she's right, because when it comes to the whole thing to do with the training, social work in general, we're not really good at speaking up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but why is that though? Like, it just frustrates me, because but on the real, like it really. So I've been. All right. So in the current local, I do apologise, brother. Sorry.
No,
man.
sorry.
Yeah. So in the
do your thing.
In the current local authority that I'm working for now, right? Yeah. I could have my own TV show in the car with the social worker. And listen, the amount of social workers in my car that have cried, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, not again. Like, like, and I'm thinking, oh, and I feel bad, you know, and I feel bad because it's the emotional and mental side of things. It's them being drained, right, yeah? And it's also the lack of, I know them personally that they're, you know, they'll speak their voice, raise their voice, you know, but they're not really saying how they want to feel. And I've got a problem with that because a social worker, like, you're there to be an advocate for that family or for that young person. And look, not everyone's a nana, and you know, sometimes I have to make them know, you know, not everyone's a nana.
Yeah, but you're the local authority, they don't control me,
I know.
That's the difference. But that's why we have the platform. So if I feel I need training on this, I don't mind telling any director or any manager, you know what, we need to bring this to the training.
But why are social workers not talking up? That's I don't know the thing, man. I need to know.
Go on, Susie, go on.
So I have a very great lecturer who always used to say to me, social work is political with a small p. So you have to take everything, there's a way you do it. You have to be wise. You have to know when, how, and why to say it in front of which individual. You have to sometimes get to a certain place in your career. Before you do it, you need to acknowledge your blackness and your womanhood when you're walking into a place. I need to be able to stay in this career long enough to gain the confidence or the position of influence to then be able to, I don't know, there's a politics to it. And it's a double-edged sword, and you have to be wise and careful. And sometimes if we get too much caught up in the rapture of politics, we move away from the social work of working with this family and getting the best outcome, because they're just a microcosm of a massive social issue.
Yeah.
So if we start focusing on that, we get lost. I don't know, this is my thought process. I know I should be better. I know I should be more confident. I know I should say the things how they are. But sometimes the fear comes from that logic.
But the thing is, Susie, even though the fear comes from that logic, it means that if we don't talk to say that we need spaces or training like this, we're never, ever, ever going to get it. Because to go back to what Rita said, if they're not going to release you, and everybody knows about the caseloads and, you know, the long working hours, but we have to be able to speak to say, actually, this particular issue within our community or families that I work with who look like me is affecting. Where is the training? These are the organizations here that I know can do it. There's no issue for me to go and say to my managers, you know what, I came to this conference today at UWL, you know. Actually, it's something that we need to bring to my local authority. Because for me as a social worker and being a black male social worker as well, I have the autonomy to do that. And I know it's affecting the community of young black boys and young black girls who I'm working with. If I'm going in and doing that home visit and I'm seeing what's affecting them, but I don't go and raise it, I'm just as complicit and neglectful because I'm not actually allowing the local authority or my practice to be upskilled to say, this is a problem within the community. And it's go back to what Rita's saying, other communities have it and it's sorted there. As a minority, as black people within this particular profession, we're already a minority as it is anyway. There's got to be someone to say, actually, you know what, we need this particular training. And then obviously you have more social workers and more students who will say, actually, yeah, you know what.
So what next then? What next? What's the plan? What's the strategy?
I think we've got to have more people, and I think what Susie said about being a young person stepping into the industry is relevant. We all got bills to pay. So at the end of the day, regardless, we're not always trying to put our livelihood at risk. But there's people that are established that for whatever reason, they've gone through the difficult times in their career and they've settled, and I don't mean that as a criticism, but you've got perhaps comfortable, or perhaps you don't know what the next step is. And I think there needs to be an accountability. We need to organise. Yeah. We need to have groups that it might not start initially as a training, it might start as a social group. And it's just, you know what, let's get
good idea, man.
5 of us, 10 of us, 3 of us, and let's just start having conversations about our experience at work. And then we can invite some more people and build the group.
Do you know, that's a banging idea. You know? And I will talk. Listen, I'm in bed WhatsApp groups, yeah? Yeah, that's another conversation. Right? But seriously, that's actually a great idea, you know, because sometimes that's how it starts, you know. Like, you know, you've got like a WhatsApp group, you've got different professionals or different social workers from different boroughs, whatever, whatnot, and obviously, you know, there's going to be rules and regulations, right? But, you know, just for the CPD and helping each other and talking, whatever, whatnot, do you know what I mean? So, but for me, I'm an idea man. I'm all about ideas. I'm all about strategy. You know, after a while, I can't do the talking thing too much. I get a headache. Yeah. I want to know, what are we going to do? What can we put in place? Yeah. How can we come together? Yeah. There's funding out there, you know. There is funding out there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we're just coming together more. So,
Of course it's gone.
What happens if like we make these WhatsApp groups and these really great independent bodies, and then we become strong as Black people? So we have excellent resources for each other, and we're great champions in our local authorities or non-statutory places. It's thrived, but we've done it in a segregated manner. And we're doing it in a segregated manner, but we live in an integrated society. And so we've got all these fantastic ideas, but there's loads of people that's practicing out there that don't look like us, won't patronize our resources, and we can't pass on that knowledge.
I just want to touch on that because I think that there are always going to be in a group the silent ones. There's going to be the ones who may share similar feelings to you, but they won't be able to speak up in a team meeting. Yeah, they will pipe up with you at lunchtime. Yeah, I'll join in. Yeah, I'll back you up. But when you raise that,
don't say nothing.
Yeah, so there are going to be the people who are the speakers. Yeah, and it's important for those people who identify those qualities in themselves to put themselves forward for roles where you can make a change. Yeah, I wasn't able to make a change on Frontline, not in the way that I would have liked to. However, in the rooms that I'm walking into now, I do have the ability to affect change in a different way. I may not be able to achieve all of what I want to achieve, but even just being able to change one sentence in a policy is a win for me.
Yeah.
I suppose for me, what I'm going to say as an older person is that I think the difference is that sometimes young people don't want to hear. So I think it's important for us to be in the spaces, but need to recognise that, yes, we've got older and we might be a bit more reserved because we know which battles to fight, but there's a reason for that rather than rubbishing the idea or the thoughts. That's not where we're coming from. It's just like, okay, try and go through this door. Don't try that door because we've tried it before. So everybody needs to have a seat around the table. I'm going to go back to a point, I think it was you, Rob, that made, is that why are social workers like that? I've got a colleague who would hear me always say that,
Sorry,
hold the mic up, sorry, is that too often the students I see now have been taught in an academic environment that that's how academia is, but then you're going to go out into practice and you're not going to have that skill. Yeah, because academia is about passing a degree.
Yeah.
Social work is you need that degree to do the job, but you have to be tooled up sufficiently to know that, yes, academia make a complaint. And because they want to get your funds, they're going to take that complaint and take you all the way that. But that's not a skill that you're going to be able to operate when you go into practice. So yes, you can go to your director, but that takes time. You've been in practice a while. Yeah. But you're not going to go there the first time and do that, because not only do you have to pay your bills, you're trying to get through your ASYE year. Yeah. Okay. And social work itself, not probation, because I still have my roots in probation. Yeah. Social work is about pacifying you. Unless you are a radical, and Nana, you probably are one. But generally speaking, social work is, this is how you should do it, and you should follow me. In probation, is generally it's your assessment, and you can go and do that assessment, and somebody's going to allow you to do that. So I think there's something about going back to being actually trained to the real work that you're going at. That includes demanding. I can't tell you how many social workers, students say to me, oh, I didn't want to say to my supervisor, and then they've had rubbish supervision. Yeah. That is literally, I'm telling my supervisor, that don't work for me.
Yeah, but then I'm still trying to figure out, where does this fear come from? Or there's like a, I don't know.
If you want the truth, bro, you know it's the media and stuff like that. Yeah, and what we need is we need to have social workers, not just about training days like this, to be a lot more vocal in terms of what we're doing and what we're demanding. This is the reason why, you know how I am already. You know what spaces I'm in, because I know exactly what needs to change. But as you said, there's not many of me. I'm not expecting people to be like how I am. I practice very differently. But there's a point about, as a social worker, you're working with children, young people, families, or adults, or whoever you're working with. We also have to speak up. And that's not just about our families. That's also about training. Of course. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just quickly say that, do you know you? Because I know that's a deep question, but so many people, Rita, you talked at the conference, you started with me. I started with me. Yeah. So many people come into practice. Andre started with me. This is who I am. If you can't start with you and you project it out to somebody needs to do it, you're not going to be the good social
I bet you
worker
clap
who can
for that.
advocate.
Please clap for that, please. Like,
Blame everybody else.
Yeah.
Start with yourself. Know who you are. So be able to say, like Andre, this is who I am. Yeah. If you can't do that, you're not going to be a good social worker. Start with you rather than out there.
And I think as well, it's okay to have self-doubt, you know.
Absolutely.
It's not a crime.
And
Yeah.
it's still starting with you.
Of course. Of course.
Shamari?
Yeah, the thing, and I was speaking to a few students about this before, is that advocacy is a skill. And some people...
Can you run that back, please? Just run that back.
Advocacy is a skill, and while some people might have a more natural gift or talent for it, they have a gift for a confidence that they've perhaps developed and so on and so forth. Sometimes I think we say, like, you have to come out and learn how to speak. Like, none of us are born learning how to speak. You have to learn how to speak, and your experiences, you might not even realize it's trained you up to be able to speak, but that's what's happened. And I think a lot of times we say, oh, well, why didn't this person speak up? And one thing Rita said, which is fair, some people that's not really them overall, and so they might need a collective group to support them in speaking up. Some people are the ideas people, some of the people are the helpers people, and some people are the people that step up and speak. But if I'm, you know, if I'm an arm and you're a leg and I ask you to be a leg, like, you're gonna feel like you're doing the wrong thing and you're incapable. You know, it's like if you judge a fish by how it can climb a tree, it's gonna feel like it's a failure.
But then, so the word social work or social worker. So the word social, what is that? Yeah, social?
That means everything, bro.
Socializing?
I agree.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, socializing, yeah, chatting, talking.
Well, you know what? Sometimes, you know what? Social work is an exhausting profession. Let's not lie to ourselves, yeah? It's exhausting. It's exhausting mentally, emotionally, sometimes on a spiritual level, because you'll be making decisions that sometimes go against your personal values.
Yeah.
He said that again, Rita, you know. It's true, you know.
No. But I'm just putting it out there that some people do practice in this way, where they do, you know, professional values trump everything. Yeah. And it's important for us, I believe. Oh my gosh, it's gone. It's gone.
And you were flowing, you know.
What were you just saying?
Nothing.
He just said social work is everything. You said you're making decisions.
The point I'm trying to make is like, so the word social worker, right? Yeah. So when you're a social worker, there's an expectancy to be confident and be a talker because of the families you're working with the young people. So individually, you know.
Yes. Okay. I've got it back. I've got it back. So I was just talking about social work. Sometimes can be such an exhausting role to have, and sometimes why people are not accessing these sort of CPD events and things like that is because I'm too tired to do a code switch, you know. And anyone who's unfamiliar with what a code switch is I can switch from a very professional way of speaking to just being like, yo, wagwan, bro. Yeah. And the latter is my natural way of speaking, as in that's just how I've been socialized. So that's my most comfortable way of being myself. Whereas when I'm at events such as this, I have to code switch in terms of presenting in a particular way, socializing in a particular way, networking in a particular way. And depending on how life is lifing at the moment, I might not have the energy. I might not have the mental health. I might not have whatever it is that I need to attend things such as this. So I think we also need to just give...
Yeah.
Because we are discussing, you know, black mental health, I think we should also discuss those areas as well that affect us and limit us in being able to access things like this.
Okay.
I feel like these events are amazing, but some people over-intellectualize it or believe it's an academic thing. So, oh, this is a them event. If you're not on a degree, then, oh, you wouldn't understand what's going on, or this information wouldn't be valuable to you. But they forget that justice, advocacy, and safeguarding is everybody's responsibility. So that's my 2 cents.
Excuse me, man.
Andre?
To be honest, even in this space, I'm struggling to find my voice.
No, man, talk.
No, talk, man. Talk. Andre, talk, man.
Talk up.
It's like I understand what CPD is and I understand what it's for, but I have a lot of lived experience. But as an academic, my voice doesn't exist yet.
But you're gonna make it.
You're gonna make it.
Yeah,
You're gonna make it, bro.
I'm a person. Social work. I'm always socialist. I'm always advocating for my youth. I work with youth now, but like in this space, it's like I don't know where I stand or where I sit. So
shall I tell you where you stand? Yeah, in about a year's time, you're gonna be doing this thing in front of everyone. Yeah, that's what's gonna.
That's what you're gonna be, bro. That's what you're gonna be.
That lie that they tell students in the beginning of, yeah, we don't care what you think. Yeah, that's repeatedly sort of like drummed down you, and it's more in terms of referencing. Yeah, and I think we should give it the context that it means. It's that sentence is said in the context of referencing. Reference what you're saying, back up what you're saying. But I think a lot of us as students, we internalize that sentence in that, people don't actually care what I'm saying. And it takes a long while to build your professional identity to get that confidence. It's going to come. Yeah, it's going to come.
Go on.
See, even before this, everyone was encouraging me. You have to force yourself. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to force yourself into these events. Force yourself to learn how to network. Get over the humiliation and put yourself out there. You have to force yourself to learn how to public speak, because you can't do the best for your community or justice to your lived experience or your people if you don't force yourself to be better. So you have to be responsible to be a leader. Like right now, I'm uncomfortable.
No, you're hot. You're firing, man.
You're fire, man.
You're fire right now, yeah.
But I know it's worthwhile, but I feel like the reason why Black CPD is important is I've never been more comfortable at the same time in terms of people around me. Or like I've never been pushed like this or had this type of scaffolding before. So it's two sides to it.
Yeah, 100%.
But you have to force yourself.
Go on, Shamari.
I could just add this last bit and kind of build on what you said. What I was saying about like advocacy being a skill in training, like what you just described, it's not obviously an official structured training, but you're training yourself up to be comfortable in speaking out. And so I think, I know, like I'm a lawyer, so I'm a lawyer and we have specific advocacy training. It's not just, because you're a lawyer and because you think you're a lawyer, you're just going to be able to speak in front of court and speak in front of people. You have to be trained. And so I don't know, because I'm not being a social worker, I'm not being on a social work course, how often are you before practice or in practice actually being trained up on how to speak? Not just, you talked about being social.
100%.
I could speak to a family. That's one thing. That's different than speaking in a meeting. That's different from speaking to a manager. How often are people being trained up to actually advocate for themselves, actually do that specific skill?
And you know as well, right, yeah, just the last point, right, yeah? So I'm not a social worker, by the way. You may not know, but I'm not. But I respect social workers very highly, and I'll tell you the reason why, right, yeah? And sometimes I don't think social workers always, I know the doctor you do, right? But what I mean is there is a certain level of high expertise work in this field, and social workers can go into so many different fields. They could be a probation officer. They can go into, like, I don't know, youth offending or education or NHS. Do you know where I'm coming from, right, yeah? So the level of expertise in this line of work, right, yeah, is high level, you know. You understand, right, yeah? So at the same time as well, you also have to, as Susie said, force yourself, because you've got to be great in this thing. Right? You've got to know your stuff, right, yeah? You can't be looking crazy out here, you know, especially like, so we talk about strategy meetings online, right, yeah? When you're in that meeting, you have to make them know, listen, I know my stuff, you know, because if not, did you hear what Robert said? He's moving mad. Yeah, you know, you understand that?
Yeah, it's true.
So there's a certain, I don't know whether I should say this, you've got to have a certain sort of arrogance and confidence. You know, yeah, that's right. So, but bro, listen.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I think people need to know that, as Shamari said, and Susie's saying, is that you don't start there. When I say to my students that I'm an introvert, they go like that. I've been like this 34 years. Naturally, I'd rather cower away. Susie, Rita said earlier, she doesn't like that limelight. I don't. But can I do it? Yes. If I have to do it, will I do it? Yes. But it comes with time. You don't start there. Yeah, and so people need to give themselves permission to learn the skill. So when I'm in the class and I say, speak with your chest, I'm not having a go at you. I'm telling you that when you go in to that conference, you're going to have to do what you just said, Rob. You're going to have to... The first time a client shouted at me, my heart was going like this. Right? I was like, come on, bring it, bring it. Yeah? Right? My heart was going like this. Yeah? But I needed to let him know I'm not frightened.
Yeah.
I'm frightened. But he can't
Yeah.
When you go into the conference, as you said, right, sometimes I'm like shuffling the paper. How do I say this? Yeah. But then I know that I know more than you. So I'm going to make you know that I know more than you, even if I'm unnerved by that.
Yeah.
And it comes with time. So social workers, when you're going in to ask for your CPD, you start small. You don't ask for a £500 conference.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah?
You measure it.
Start with the CPD. That's you have to have that strategy of saying, I'm doing that piece of work. This will help me.
That's right.
Your manager's going to give it to you. But if you start saying, I want to go to the international conference, yeah, they're going to say no. You have to learn to do those
And measure
incremental
it.
steps to get what you want.
It's true, it's true, it's true. But panelists, listen, thank you so much for your expertise and your knowledge.
Amazing.
Thank you, UWL. But guys, listen, you know where to find myself and Rob. You like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to come on the show, it's thesocialworker@gmail.com. It's been big, bruv.
Listen, everyone was dropping gems. Listen, I've learned so much today, you know.
Yeah.
Listen, and that's the thing. We never stop learning. We're always learning from each other. Do you know what I mean? Or getting something like see the chest thing. Yeah. But guys, listen. Let's have a round of applause for the guests. And
then guys, we'll see you soon.
See you soon.